What is good? Tommy the Hobby Hideout here with Cardboard Stocks team member Brandon Colas. What'd you do today, Brandon?
I topped with Dark World again. The deck's been consistently good, topping multiple locals. So I wanted to show it off.
Yeah, he's been popping with this. All right, let's
right.
get into it.
So we'll start off with the main starter, 3 Genta from the new structure deck. Searches the field spell. We got 3 Snow. It's an old one. Just searches anything in the deck. Here's another new one, 3 Rainbow. This searches for combo pieces or Grapha, Silver or Grapha. Those are the 3 O's for danger or for the Dark Worlds, and then 2 Grapha. You could get away with just 1, and you could also get away with 2 Rainbow, but I went for a heavier Dark World package. And 2 comes up because you banish 1 from your spell sometimes. And then the hand rip part is 1 Ceruli and 2 Silva. You really just need 1 and 1, but the second one comes up if they get rid of it somehow, or sometimes it happens. Like Runic players might banish it, like it happened today. So yeah, stuff like that. And if you don't know the combo, Ceruli summons on your opponent's side of the field, makes you discard a card, and you discard Silva. And when Silva gets discarded, it says put 2 cards from your opponent's hand on the bottom of their deck. So you do that twice, and you rip for 4. And it's possible to do 5 in certain ways. I'll show you that in a minute. So now we get dangers. So I only pretty much play the dangers that are good in this specific deck. So like you're not playing Snake, you're just playing the Jack, because I could summon a level you want. Also doesn't do nothing if it goes to the grave. 3 Mothman. I think this is the best one in the deck, right behind Nessie. You don't really care about giving your opponent, letting them see a 6th card, because chances of that being an impactful hand trap is low. You just got to dig deeper and trigger your effects from the card effects. 1 Chupacabra. The only reason you play this is because it's a fiend and it's a level 4. So you'll search this sometimes off a Nessie late game if you have like a Mothman engrave and you want to guarantee a body. Yeah, that's why you would grab it. Also, you could banish it off of your field spell to get your draw because it's a fiend. 3 Nessie is probably the best one. The level is really hard to use efficiently, but just the fact that you search any of them, if it gets discarded, is really good, and you're usually just linking it off. Last 2 is 1 Bigfoot, 1 Thunderbird. I just play these because they're level 8. Going second, they're really good at popping stuff, and you play trade in too, so it's good to discard off of that too. The honorary danger is a Zephyros. Usually bounce the field spell and activate it a 4th time on 1 turn sometimes, so that's pretty funny. Yeah. Last monster in the deck is your only going second card, 3 Lava Golem. This is especially good in this deck because it's level 8, so you could discard it off of trade-in, and it's also a fiend, so it works with your field spell. Yep. And you don't normal summon very often, so that's really this is the thing I'm normal summoning most of the time if I get to it. Yeah. So now spells, you got 3 of the field spell, Gates of the Dark World. You're usually going through all 3 in the same turn. 3 Allure of Darkness. You're not plussing off the banishes, but just getting deeper and getting rid of the dangers that you don't want to reveal. Is good, or maybe the 2nd Silva in your hand, or a Grapha, something bad that you can't use at the time. Just 2 trade-in. I used to play this at 3, but sometimes it's not live, and sometimes you don't want to play into Ash hard, because if you get Ash, you're down to 3 cards, and you're usually out the game after that. So you want to draw this mid-combo when you're like already playing. So 2 is good. Also, you side it out every time going second for the most part, so yeah. 1 Ascension. This is the fusion spell. It's nice to get this early game because then you just have your negate up, and yeah. Archives, 1 Archives. These are 2 new cards from the structure deck. I like Archives a lot. I would search that off of Snow pretty often if I am already playing, because it just lets you draw 2 more, and it's really good. It's also a controlled discard outlet later on when you want to just boost your board, but you have to discard something for another reason, maybe to get 2 more cards out of their hand. 1 Upstart and 1 Card Destruction is the last 2 out of the 40 card deck. Yeah, this is just the God card. You want to get to this at some point in the combo and plus like 3 or 4. This used to be a talents, and that the 1 talents is how I would rip the 5th card. out of their hand because they're activating Ceruli, so it's always live. But I figured game 1, you're not worried about ripping all 5. You just want to get as far as you can, and this is just more consistent if you open it. So it's a 39
you're
card
playing
deck.
0 talents, and the only way he got to the first talent was just drawing half his deck.
Yeah.
There was no search for it.
No.
Just
No. So the extra deck, one Akashic Magician. This is how you loop for at least 4. You bounce back your Ceruli and hopefully a Danger, and then do it again. 1 Muckraker. This is just something you can use if your combo gets stopped or late at the end of your combo. You just want to reborn something. It locks you in the Fiends though, so you can't make too much more afterwards. 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Phoenix. You use these for the typing a lot because to make Akashic, you need 2 of the same type. So sometimes you have to link your Dangers into this. Also going second, obviously, it's really good. Same with this card, going second. There's not a lot of darks in the meta, but it's still worth playing, I think.
what's the point of Dark Charmer?
Go into Access Code, going second.
True.
Yeah. 1 Saryuja, just more draw power. If you have a bunch of Dangers and not enough Dark World, you make that. Appaloosa. What's cool is you can usually rip for 4 or 5 and then make this, plus have a few more interruptions up, so it's just free sometimes. And then Access Code, yeah, this is for going second, obviously. This deck is really good at breaking boards, just because you play Grapha, Bigfoot, Thunderbird, Nightmares. It's pretty easy to break a board and sometimes OTK. One thing I did miss today though was Unicorn. I wish I put that in the deck. I'll show you what I put instead though, and why I would put it back in. XYZs, you play 1 Dugaris. You always make this when you go first. Just draw 2, discard 1 every time.
That's insane.
Exciton Knight, I really like this card. It's, in my opinion, just as good as Zeus going second because sometimes you wipe the whole board, but other times it just baits something out and then you go into the Zeus main phase too. So they have to deal with it twice, pretty much. Giant Trainer. This is going first. Game 1, you just draw 3 if you can get to it, but most of the time it's actually a time card because the combo does take a while and you do go to time sometimes. So it burns for 800 if you reveal a monster off the draw.
Man, it's gambling, bro. If you don't, you don't hit that monster.
I mean, you play so many.
Yeah, that's true.
Out of 3 draws, you know. Harbinger, this is what you make with all your extra 8s, like Rainbow and Grapha, late game, or late in the combo. And then the 1 Zeus. And then the last 2 are 2 of the Grapha Fusion. This is what I took a Unicorn out for a second copy of, and it came up where I needed the second one last week, but now I didn't need it today, so now I kind of want the Unicorn back. So I'd probably keep 2 and cut something else.
Do you play only 1 fusion spell?
Yeah, but you can add it to your hand every turn, so.
Oh, right, it comes back.
Yeah.
And you discard a card, it
You
comes
discard
back.
a Dark World, and yeah.
Yeah, I
so.
can see that coming up.
But just having 2 of these, you know, is pretty good too, because, like, you know, if they get rid of it somehow, it's nice to have another one. Side deck, I think, is also really good and tuned up for this meta. 3 Gamma, 1 Driver. A lot of people don't expect you to have hand traps in this kind of deck, but Gamma's really good right now against non-cash decks, such as Sprite and stuff like that. Also 2 Kaijus, because a lot of people like to play around Golem post side. So I'll usually take out the Golems and put these in along with the hand trap. And then, you know, they'll end on 1 thing and I just Kaiju it, and that's that. It's also a Fiend and a Dark, so it's good with Allure and Gates. 2 Cyclone, 1 Harpy. This is pretty much going in against everything. In my opinion, it's good against everything in the meta. It'll hit at least something. But yeah, this is just a little less good against Trap Tricks, which we have a lot of at this locals, but I think it's still worth playing. And then for Kashatira, we got 2 Book of Moons and 1 Change of Heart. Obviously with this type of deck, you need something that you can draw late game, like after revealing a bunch of Dangers and still be live. So everything, even the Gamma is pretty good most of the time because, you know, your board's pretty empty for a while. And then once you eventually draw one of these, it's just really good, especially against a Rise Pass. Like these 5 are really good against that. And then for going first, that's when I put in the 2 Talents and 1 Called By.
For going first, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'll take out the Golems, game 2 or 3, and then just put these in going first. And
Because it loops the last card, right?
that, and it just, people are gonna throw their whole side deck in against you to try to stop you from looping
So
their
sometimes
hand.
you have to draw if it's it.
So you just draw 2, and then if they loop themselves 1 card, like with an Ash or whatever, and then you just take the last 4, that's still all 5 gone.
Mm-hmm.
So you just need a way to keep playing after that. So, yeah.
Well, good list. How were your matchups today? I mean, I guess you've been playing this deck for a while, but today they went. how'd
Today
they
was
go?
good. Yeah, today was just a lot of trap tricks
Yeah.
and some rogue stuff today. Smaller tournament, but I mean, I've been taking this to like 30 and 40 man locals at different locals, and I'll go 4-1 or 5-2 or 5-1-1. Just it's always topping. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Any shout outs?
Yeah. Shout out to the Hobby Squad.
Yes, sir.
Hobby Hideout.
Hobby
And-
Squad, Hobby Hideout. All the
And
teams.
shout out to my team, Cardboard Stocks.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Tommy and the Hobby Hide. Out.